Welcome to the coach's meeting. That's the coach. I'm
What's
Grant
up?
Cohn. This is a big week. It feels like almost a Super Bowl preview. We're going to try to pick a winner, or at least argue it out a little early in the week before we know exactly who's going to play. We're going to talk about who Kyle Shanahan prefers at quarterback, whether his guy or Lamar Jackson. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFC playoff picture, the AFC playoff picture, and fatigue. But first, there was a roster move today. The 49ers signed a defensive tackle, Taylor Stallworth, signed to the practice squad. Here's what the Niners say about him. He's 6'2", 305. Originally entered the NFL after signing with the New Orleans Saints as an undrafted free agent in 2018. 6-year career, has appeared in 58 games, starting 2 with the Saints, the Colts, the Chiefs, the Texans, and the Titans. He has 52 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 1 pass defense, and 2 fumble recoveries. In 2023, he spent time with the Texans and Panthers practice squads before being signed to the Titans practice squad. He appeared in 1 game with the Titans and was released by the team on November 14th. He's 28, and he went to South Carolina like Kinlaw and Debo. So he's been on a lot of practice squads. It's not that he's necessarily the next project for the 49ers, but the Niners lack bodies at D tackle.
Yeah. So really what this is it's I feel like it's a little bit of it should show some concern for the interior defensive line. Right now, I've checked around, and I know you've been up at the facilities, but Javon Hargraves nor Eric Armstead have practiced all this week. So for what we're seeing, I think Davis is just got put on IR for the year. So now we got to see exactly what we're going to do with shoring this up for the long haul. I don't necessarily think that this is something to actually worry about right now, but we are a different defense without Javon Hargraves and Eric Armstead on the field. That's just full stop. Arizona Cardinals, notwithstanding, we did thump them, and that was a resounding win. But that offense had traction against us. Those are the facts. They rushed for over 300 yards against us. Kyler Murray had over 50 yards rushing on the ground, and that was emblematic of us not being able to stop the run at times. And I could see, like I said, I could see if they were getting runs in just one fashion, but they pretty much had a smorgasbord of how they got after us on the ground. They got after us on the ground with the quarterback. They got after us on the ground with home run hitting and outside rushes, and they just gave us good old fashioned James Conner north-south duo ground and pound. So bringing in Stallworth is something that is they see what we all see, but I want to see really what the timeline is back on getting our depth, because I think that's an issue too. Not necessarily the players we have, but the depth.
Tell me if I'm alone with this one, but when they sent out this email, it says that the Niners announced roster moves. They have signed defensive lineman Ndamukong Taylor Stallworth. Like, what?
Yeah.
Huh? And it's like, okay, great. He's probably really cheap. You didn't sign him to your active roster. You signed him to your practice squad, but you elevated Jeremy McNichols to your practice squad. So you have an extra running back. And instead of getting Ndamukong Suh, who might cost you a couple $1 million, you get a guy on the practice squad. I mean, I'm nothing against this guy. He might be better than Ndamukong Suh right now, but
this may be the year we got it in the building, Grant. Honestly, this may be the year of we have it in the building. Kyle said that numerous times during the trade deadline, and he's proven to be right. I mean, outside of the 2D linemen that we got, we shored up the defense. We shored up the defensive backfield with the secondary. I mean, and again, I feel like depth is the biggest Achilles heel of this D line. They seem to always work in tandem when they can give each other a blow. But right now, if you get them all on the field for extended periods of time, they could be had.
Right. And Ndamukong Suh wouldn't want to be depth. He wouldn't sign a practice squad contract. He wouldn't be third string. And I think the Niners don't want to be seen like they're desperate for someone on the outside to come in and save them. I think they feel like they're way beyond that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like they need.
I think they are. I think Ndamukong Suh would be it would be a desperation.
Yeah. And they don't want to look desperate.
No.
Because they're not.
Not at all. No, I mean, right now we're in the driver's seat. This is something that we're we're kind of mulling these guys over as many times as we can, because the truth of the matter is that we're sitting pretty. Right now, we're in the number 1 seed. We're controlling our own destiny. We're on a win game streak, and some of our biggest competitors seem to be struggling or keeping on injuries when we're the healthiest that we've ever been. I mean, right now, I understand that we're missing 2 serious defensive linemen on the inside, but for what it's worth, if we can engineer around this. But the truth is that we are going to play a team where running the ball is their identity. It's not something that they choose to do. And the same thing with the Cardinals. Running the ball is their identity. They just have nobody on the outside, and they don't have as much of a dynamic quarterback when you don't have anybody on the outside. Like I said, I do feel like Baltimore is what Arizona aspires to be.
Yep. I like that. That's well put. And I'm like, I'm looking at the Ravens. They're first in rushing attempts. Am I wrong about this? No. First in rushing attempts, first in rushing yards, second in rushing touchdowns, second in yards per attempt. Like this team is not messing around. They run the ball. That's what they do.
They will run the ball, Grant. And that's this game. Each week proves itself to be another litmus test. And this week proves no different. This is going to be a team that they've won many games playing exactly how they want to. This is a team that dictates the game. And I feel like the Baltimore's a better opponent for us than, let's say, a Philadelphia would be, because they actually dictate from the offensive side of the ball, right? They have a good defense, but they're not led by their defense, right? They still push. They still can be aggressive on offense. And I feel like with Philly, they're very talented all around on offense, but they just do what they can because they're just better than everybody else, right? Philly got away from the run game against us, right? Because we got up on them quick. They abandoned it, and then it was Jalen Hurts' time, and the game was essentially over. Baltimore's going to keep running the ball, no matter what. They're not going to abandon the run. And Arizona is a team that showed last week, if you don't abandon the run, you can run on the Niners all day. The only thing is you got to have something on the outside to account for it.
Also, like the lack of depth at D tackle, if you just stick with it, they'll get tired. I think where we saw those long runs starting to break out against Arizona, it was exhaustion from people who've been playing a long time, who didn't normally play a lot. Ray Valencia says, "Hey Grant, love your pops takes, but he seems a little behind in acknowledging Lamar's throwing ability. Do you think his opinion will change after a closer look?" I mean, if Lamar has a good game, my dad will definitely change his opinion. If he doesn't, he'll say, he's not impressed with him as a thrower. Thinks he's erratic as a thrower. Maybe he's not. We'll see. But he does think he's the best offensive weapon in football. So I think that's complimentary. Yeah. Matt McEwen says, Reddit told me Brock is faster than Lamar. We good.
Do you want to touch it?
Nah. Here, I'll touch it real quick. All right, moving on.
Go ahead.
Are the Niners getting tired? I asked this because they've been missing tackles. So last week they missed 16. Week before they missed 15. Week before they missed 12. Coming out of the bye week, it was 7, 4, and 5. So this is it's like piling up. And this was a pattern before the bye week. Week 1, 7 missed tackles. Week 2, 8. Week 3, 3. Week 4, 4. Week 5, 2. Like that was when they were 5-0. Then all of a sudden, 10 missed tackles week 6, 9 week 7, 8 week 8. They have a bye week. They clean it up, and now it's an issue again. Is this an older team? Is this a symptom of an older team experiencing fatigue?
We are older. We're older. We're one of the oldest teams in the league by the numbers. And
fourth oldest.
Yeah. And yeah. So the way I look at it is when we first started, we were the young guys on the block. We were with a couple of older vets, right? And remember, it used to be Joe Staley, and it would be Joe Staley and Oak Sherm, right? Everybody else was babies, to the point where we even had to go get a vet and Emmanuel Sanders.
Correct.
To bring him in to actually kind of shore up our very young wide receiver room, right? And we just had a kind of a log jam where Coach Welker was having a hard time really kind of breaking through that wall to get to them. You needed that pace horse there. Now, if you've noticed, as the years have gone on, they've become more identified with who they are as people, and they have become much more entrenched in the culture that they've built because they're getting older, right? So the culture is a lot stronger, and the cream rises to the top. Ergo, the money rises to the top. All of a sudden, we used to be one of the most innovative, gee whiz teams where we would find diamonds in the rough, to the point now where it's like we're almost kind of like the who's who of football. Everybody gets
all
contract.
The A-list players.
Yeah, you get paid, you get paid, you get paid. So as you can see, there's been a transition where we're not the young, hot startup anymore. We're not the hungry team that nobody wants to play anymore. Now we're the hunted. Now we're the top-heavy, old, savvy vet team that doesn't get any cut cards, that doesn't get anybody to give us any excuses. And now, because of it, now when you are the hunter and when nobody's really checking for you, you get to surprise teams, right? You get to come up on teams. When you're the young, hungry team, right, who was jilted out of a game and you retool, right, teams are going to play you, but teams are going to kind of get out of your way, especially if they don't have a dog in the fight. Now that you are the team that everybody knows who you are, all of the names have name recognition across the league, you're going to get the best shot of everybody you play, even out of your worst team, because they're not going to be embarrassed, right? Nobody's going to lay down to you. So we get everybody's best shot, right? And it's a shame to say that, because there was a time where you couldn't say that about the NFL. You could watch two of the worst teams in the NFL play, and it would be a dog fight just because pride was on the line. Now, competition is a la carte. You pick the games that you want to see, and maybe they'll give you 3.5 quarters. If something's on the line, we may get a full game. So that's also emblematic of shorter training camps, older guys, and you're starting to see where the average football team, not just us, but the average football team is hard pressed to actually play over 50 snaps if you're on defense. That's not happening. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question real simply. Are the Niners getting tired? Yes. Their defense is getting tired. It happened in the first half of the season. It's happening now. And thank goodness they're in position to get that first round bye, because they should be rested and ready to go for the play. Like, that defense should be flying around in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. But for this 3-game stretch, I think they're tired. I think the missed tackle stats prove it. And I'm curious to see what's gonna happen against Baltimore if they're thin at D tackle and this trend happens. I mean, that this is the best running team in the league, them and Dalton and Miami. It's going to be a close game. If Baltimore sticks with it for 60 minutes,
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if Baltimore sticks with the run for 60 minutes, this is going to be an issue.
I like them. I think the missed tackles come when we play teams that dedicate themselves to the run. I don't necessarily because I didn't really care. I see the missed tackles against Cleveland. That was early in. That was the first loss of the season. That was week 6. Okay, right, and that was just against a team with PJ Walker with no real passing threat, and they ran up and down the field on us. Okay. I seen them miss a hell of a lot of tackles in the first Arizona game, okay, that we won. All right. Yeah. And it was James Conner running the ball, right? Having a good running the ball against this team without Eric Armstead on the field and without Dre Greenlaw, things look compromised. Right.
They missed 16 tackles last week. 16.
They rushed for over 300 yards on them.
It was 234, I think, but it felt like 300. And as the game went on, it was
234 is team yards. I mean, 234 is team yards, right? Where they take away like Kyle Murray's sacks, and if he gets taken back, and all of that. If you go numbers by numbers of everybody's rushing yards, they rush for over 300 yards.
You mean gross, not net? Okay, fine.
Yeah,
fine. But I think they are getting tired. I think that's why this game is going to be interesting. It may not affect them in the playoffs. They may be fine in the playoffs, but this 3-game stretch, they're going to be fine against Washington. But they got to win 2 of the next 3. Baltimore is good. The Rams just took Baltimore to overtime. So the Rams might just be right there with Baltimore. I'm not sure. And the Niners, I don't know. they should be able to beat them because their offense is so good right now. And I don't know that their offense is tired, but their defense does look tired. They may be in some higher scoring games down the stretch. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Matt McEwen says, oh, we got you. Tony Nagatani says, Ravens are also good on special teams. Niners struggle. Say that to Mitch Wisnowski. Say it in his face. Say it in his face.
Yo,
Sammy
Mitch
Martinez
Wisnowski
says,
is a dog. He's been balling.
Yeah, he's good. McVay just exposed this defense. Kyle's going to do the exact same thing. That's a good point.
I don't know about that.
For the record, the score of that game was 37-31. Ravens won. So we'll see. All right, let's do a little Bet US. I think it's interesting to look at I love Bet US. I love having, it's like super up-to-date odds, like current odds. And we're looking at AFC odds to go to the Super Bowl. It's not like the NFC where it's clear cut the Niners. This is, you got the favorites are the Ravens at plus 215, but then you got the Chiefs at plus 285. Not far off. And I think that's if you bet $1,000 and you get it right, you get 250, you get your money back plus 215. I think that's how it works. Mm-hmm. Dolphins plus 350. So those are the three favorites. And then you got the Bills at plus 650. And I don't even think that the Bills are currently in the playoff picture. That's how wonky this is. And then you have teams like Cincinnati that is in the playoff picture plus 5,000. Like, I kind of like that action. Like, they have a chance. The Browns have a chance with freaking Joe Flacco at plus 2,000. Those are my teams that I like.
It's the mid-off.
I mean, I kind of feel like the AFC is pretty stacked. I don't know. I like the Browns. The Browns are a really tough team. And it's like, I think they are. I mean,
the Bills are turning on for me, though. The Bills are turning on. They're getting hot at the right time.
Yeah. Now would be a good time to wager on them to win. Here, let me get the standings real quick for the AFC. I'm curious. So Buffalo's the 9th seed right now, and they have the fourth best odds to win. That's incredible to me. What a conference! 9 teams with winning records in this conference. 9 teams with winning records in this conference, as opposed to the NFC that has 1, 2, 3, 4 teams winning records. 4.
Look, man, it's a weird. The competitive landscape of the NFL is very weird now. It's not, the parity is not there the way it used to be.
And that's why I have a tough time. I keep looking at the Niners with like a buffalo eye, like kind of side eye. Like, are you guys good or are you just beating up on the NFC? Because the NFC is atrocious. There are teams with 10 wins in the NFC that suck, legitimately suck, and they are like 10-4. And you know who you are. I'm not calling you out by name.
There was a tweet today that said that the Giants were still in contention to make the playoffs and get the number 2 overall pick mathematically. I think it was the Giants. That's disgusting.
The Giants. Yeah, they're only 2 games out, right? They're 5-9. The 7th seed is 7-7. They could theoretically probably get back in. And the Chicago's 5-9 too. I don't know.
It's like, and then like, it's just a different league. Like, you see that, right? Where it's like the Giants are mathematically alive for both the playoffs and the number 2 overall pick in the draft, right? You see stuff like that. Then you see stuff like AJ Brown comes out and says the NFL should get rid of Monday Night Football. Right after the game, you only have a certain amount of time for your body to recover. I think they should take Monday Night Football out. I know it's cool and all, but to turn around after is very, very hard to do, especially when you're banged up. I mean, excuse the hell out of me for you being a millionaire. Like,
dude,
dog, it's like that sentiment right there. They play like that. They play like that.
I agree. If you want to bet on AFC odds, NFC odds, Super Bowl odds, money lines for this week, go to Bet US. Use the link in the description. Receive 125% bonus and get your money in 24 hours after you win, because you're going to win. I can feel it. All right. That's the one. Bet US. Let me ask you something out of left field.
What's up?
Are the Rams a threat to the 49ers? They're the one team the Niners have beat this year that the Niners didn't beat by double digits, although they kind of snuck that in with the field goal at the end. And they've won 4 of their last 5, and they went to overtime with the Ravens, and their offense is hot, and they have Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, they're getting hot at the right time, and that is the team that, when healthy, they mimic us the most, and they do it a little bit better from a passing perspective, not necessarily because of Matt Stafford, but because of Sean McVay. Sean McVay is a very talented coach from what our scheme does, but especially through the air. You know, it's almost as if I would say that Sean McVay is as talented as Kyle is, just from the passing game as Kyle is with the run game. So with that said, they've, like you said, they won 4 of the last 5, and although they've all of those 4 wins, it was the Seahawks, the Cardinals, the Browns, and the Commanders. They are coming on hot. Out of the last games that they've scored, out of 3 of them, they scored.
The Browns are darn good. 9-5. Joe Flacco. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Hold your tongue.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but yeah, okay, but for me, the Rams are intelligently made. I did say about them earlier in the season, I was encouraged at them offensively because it looked like at first that they were just going to kind of tank the season, but really, they started the season running the ball like 30 times a game, damn near. They're very dedicated to it, and again, this goes with the theme of what our defense struggles with is a consistent rush, right? So, the Rams are hard to beat because of 2 people, to be honest with you. In my opinion, it's Matt Stafford and Puka Nacua. And one of the things is that we didn't even get to see Cooper Kupp this time around. So it could be a different matchup altogether. Now, albeit things contextualize as the season goes on, and we may not know the significance of that game when we truly face them, but they are a divisional game, and we need to finish them off to sweep the season. They're the last game that we need to get the Sweet Six. So they're a team that
the Rams, they're kind of like the Niners too. It's not just Puka Nacua. Like, yeah, he leads them in targets, but got to worry about Cooper Kupp, got to worry about Tutu Atwell, got to worry about Tyler Higbee, got to worry about Kyron Williams. Like, all 5 of their eligible receivers are threats. Not like the Niners, but they're all threats.
Right. And all right, okay. And the reason why I'm being a little bit balanced with how I'm talking about the Rams is that you could talk about the Rams all day, and if you want to talk about offense, that's fine, right? But the problem is that they don't have a defense. That's the real issue with the Rams. The Rams defense is like ranked like 26th in the league. I think their offense is ranked like top 10 in the league. So if we're talking about their offense, then yeah, the Rams are class personified. They're pretty nice, right? But let's look at the 4 of the last 5 losses. I mean, 4 of the last 5 games that they've had with the wins. 28-20. They gave up 20 in a win. All right. 31-37. They lost in overtime to the Ravens, but they gave up 37 points. 19. They gave up 19 points to the Rams, but outside of that, they gave up 30 to us, 24 to the Steelers, 43 to the Cowboys, my man. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me, it's offensively, they're always a player away, one healthy guy away, a little bit more of a experience with their offense. What is that defense, man? Like, and particularly their linebackers.
That's a good point.
Their linebackers.
I just want to say though, they got a cornerback right now who statistically is among the best cornerbacks in the league right now. And his name is
an A, and his first name start with a W.
I swear, he is giving Akello Witherspoon is giving up a quarterback rating of 57 this season on 89 targets, a completion percentage of 41. He has 3 picks. I don't know who the hell he thinks he is. He's 28 years old, and he's finally fulfilling the promise that the Niners thought he had when they drafted him in the 3rd round. Good for Akello. He's a really nice guy.
What site did you find this on?
Pro Football Reference, like just plain old Pro Football Reference. And you go to Sys Data Hub, which is like kind of like the free version of PFF, and they have their own little system called Total Points Saved that they use to rank defensive players. And they have Witherspoon as the 5th rated corner behind Deron Bland, Brandon Stevens, Kenny Moore, and Paulson Adebo. And then let's for good measure, let's see what PFF thinks about good old Kello Witherspoon.
Let's do
They
it. I'm
got
about to hop on there now.
65.5. See, that's what I don't understand. All these places disagree. They're like not impressed at all. They're like,
No,
Kello.
they're not. They're not impressed by
No.
him at all.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's because he's on a
Yeah.
terrible defense. Or maybe it's because they're, biased because they know him from the past. But this is a new Kello. Anyway, we've talked about Kello Witherspoon too long.
Yeah.
My
I'm
point
completely
is
on my
that if
heels about this.
all the teams the Niners could face, I feel like there's two teams you'd kind of rather not face in the NFC playoffs. Rams and Lions. Doesn't mean that either one would beat the Niners, but those are the teams you'd kind of rather not face.
You don't want to see the Rams.
Cool.
You don't want to see the Rams because of Matt Stafford, period. Right? And today, there's so much average quarterback play that when you actually go up against a guy, you can lose any given day, honestly, especially with the way this game is played. And then also, you don't want to see the Lions because they're like a year away, right? But in a playoff atmosphere, they're dangerous because they could just fuck up a game plan. Like they really can. And they got one of the hottest young minds in the game in Ben Johnson. So I don't want to see the Rams at all in the playoffs. Nobody wants to see the Rams. I mean, the Lions.
The thing about the Lions is I feel like they're a lot better at home. They're a lot better under a dome, like indoors. I think they've always kind of been that way. So the Niners won't have to go to Detroit to face them. So that's good. But the Rams, I don't think it matters because they don't ever have a home field advantage anyway. And that's the one team in the NFC that's not going to be intimidated by the Niners. Stafford Stafford beat them.
They know us too well.
Yeah.
They know us way too well to be intimidated.
Yeah. All right. We got Sammy Martinez. Justin Lomkris is with Jennings out. Any chance of Danny Gray? Danny Gray isn't even like on the active roster. He's still on IR from that shoulder injury at the beginning. I don't know. Remember when he went down returning a kick in preseason? Bill Kennedy says, I think Kyle needs to rest CMC more. Concussion. He's not necessarily out. He's in the concussion protocol. We'll see what happens.
Right.
I think Kyle needs to rest CMC more. If he goes down, we are screwed.
We've been saying that though, and Kyle is not budging on it. I mean, and really, he's got to get some credit here because he was not practicing Christian all camp. Christian had a very light camp. Sat out multiple days, and you could see even from the summer what Kyle had on his mind with how he was going to utilize Christian throughout the season. And it's proven to be good. I mean, outside of the oblique situation that he had against the Browns, I believe, Christian's kind of been in and out. I mean, doing his thing. Also, now with the last game, he did seem to be ailing like some tendonitis in his knee, trying to like get through some discomfort during the game. But that type of stuff is not going to go anywhere. So at this stage of the game, trying to sit him down and slow him down might actually get him injured because he's already used to a certain flow.
All right, I got a question for you.
What's up?
You know Kyle Shanahan well. I know Kyle Shanahan well. You're a coach. I'm a quality control guy, at heart. And we like to sort of figure out what Kyle's thinking because, he's one of us and he's really good. He's really smart. And I respect his point of view. And I feel like he, in his way, will let you peek at it, at what his point of view is. So he was asked about Brock Purdy. He was asked about Lamar Jackson. I'm curious to hear what you think, which quarterback you think he prefers. So let me just read you what he said about each quarterback, all right? This is what he said about Lamar Jackson today, a couple of days ago. Everyone knows how elite of a runner he is, but the way he can throw, he's always been such a good thrower, but what I see is I think he sees the field well. He's got a good way of finding the holes in the defense, whether he's scrambling off schedule or it's in the pocket and rhythm. He's just got to decide all the time whether he wants to kill you with his arm or his legs. Both of them are a very good option for him. That's why he's such a challenge. To me, that feels like high praise coming from Kyle. Here's what he said about Purdy the other day after the game. He can see the whole field. There's nothing that he can't do. He has a poise out there. He can see it and react. When he doesn't have time, he finds a way to check it down or create and get something off schedule. He has a great command of our offense, but also the amount of plays he makes throughout these 2 years has been as many plays of any quarterback I've ever been around. He has been a stud. What do you think?
Well, I think that Kyle he wants Brock with his heart. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like deep down, Kyle knows that Brock is his muse. This is the guy that is going to literally paint my offense on the field, right? I finally have a brush, right?
Sure. But if you had a moment with Kyle, you guys were on the fourth beer of the night, and
that's what I'm getting to.
And you said, Kyle,
that's what I'm
Brock
getting
better
to.
than Lamar. What would he say?
It's like this. It's like Brock is Kyle's wife, but Lamar is the chick that you know at the bar. like Kyle knows that Brock is what he needs. It's the best thing that's ever happened to him, and quite frankly, he should not even think about getting another quarterback.
This is a terrible
I've never
metaphor.
seen his offense operate this way, right? But every man has an ego. And we all think that we deserve the best of the best and that we can handle the best of the best. When it's like, nah, bruh, you missed your window with that. I want him to start. I would love for Kyle to start understanding that he missed his all-world, can throw at a country mile and run like a deer window.
I'm not saying he wants to coach Lamar Jackson, but in his heart of hearts, would he acknowledge in a private, honest moment? I mean, he might even do it publicly, that Lamar is better, or does he think Brock is legitimately a better quarterback than Lamar? Because again, Kyle coached Robert Griffin. Kyle can work with a mobile quarterback, and I think Kyle probably thinks Lamar's better than Robert. Now, he got Robert hurt, for sure. That happened. But you looking at me funny.
No, I'm listening to you.
I think Kyle looks at Lamar Jackson and feels like, man, he's over on the Ravens. They don't really know what they're doing schematically on offense.
That's what I'm saying.
I can make Lamar Jackson.
I know that it's almost like he has his offense and he wants it to be ran in an exact way. And Brock gives him that. And he's going to have to just understand that everything that Brock gives him is exactly what he wants. But years ago, when we got Trey, Kyle went into this whole diatribe of like his perfect quarterback. And it sounded nothing like Brock Purdy. Nothing. So, like, there's times when he's had
a lot like Lamar Jackson.
Hello. But I mean, I'm being respectful of where we are now. Like glazing Lamar Jackson is not like the move right now, because that ain't what we got at quarterback, right? So sitting here, like, and you got to understand, you got to read the room. So glazing,
I just like parsing words. I just like parsing words. When he says stuff like, he just has to decide whether he wants to kill you with his arm or his legs. Like, that's really high praise coming from Kyle, where everything with Purdy was very measured. Like, he's made as many plays as any quarterback I've ever been around. Like, yeah, compared to Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins and Johnny Manziel and RG3, like, he's probably top 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's nothing he can't do. Like, that's a negative statement. There's nothing he can't do. 2 negatives.
I heard that. Because when you say there's nothing he can't do, it's basically it's a backhanded compliment of saying, like,
it's not saying he can kill you with his arm and his legs. He's saying there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah,
it's different.
So I mean,
it's different.
He
runs our offense well. He said that. He said,
man.
I'm sorry. He said he has great command of our offense. I mean, I'm just telling you. Like, look. You think I'm a hater of these Niner quarterbacks? Kyle is the ultimate hater. Whatever we thought of Jimmy Garoppolo, he thought less of him. Whatever we thought of Jimmy Garoppolo, he thought less.
I said this after he went with. I said this after he traded Trey. Like, I don't want to hear it no more, man. Like, your guy is like the Kirk Cousins avatar. Like, stop, bro. Like, I don't want to hear it. Like, you want somebody who can stay in the pocket, make the throws that you want thrown, okay? See the whole field, all right? But it's just at the same time, you want somebody to be able to throw off script and make something happen when your shit ain't working on the field. Brock gives you that, and you need to just stop right there. But he kind of gets caught up in the optics too, right?
I mean, when Kyle said when he doesn't have time, he finds a way to check it down. Like, dude, yeah, that's good, but he would never say that about Lamar Jackson. Like, that's not something you say about the best quarterback. He finds a way to check it down. That's such a, it's like, I don't know what the word is. It's, what is the, it's, you're right. It's a backhanded compliment to
It
Brock.
is.
He likes Brock a lot.
I didn't want to say
He
it again.
takes so much
like,
credit for Brock's success. You can tell. He takes so much credit for Brock's success.
He takes tons of credit for Brock's success.
Tons of credit.
But that's why as time goes on, I really want to see how Kyle's going to move, because even now, fans are not looking at, when people are talking about Brock being MVP, nobody is saying, oh, well, he's playing one of the most, intricately designed offenses in the league with as many weapons, bar none, pound for pound across the league. Nobody's saying that. And even when you do, you get your head chopped off, right? Because what does it do? It takes away from the individual success of Brock. So more and more as time goes, especially if Brock gets the MVP, when Brock gets the MVP, man, ain't nobody going to be talking about Kyle. Ain't nobody going to be talking about Kyle. They're going to be forgetting about them damn plays. I'm telling you, Kyle created this. This is going to be fun to see how he plays this out.
Yeah, Brock's going to get all the credit and Kyle's going to be like, hey, it was me.
No, it wasn't, Kyle. And I'm going to be hardcore about it. No, it wasn't. Kyle, shut up. Shut up. You basically
but that's how he feels. When he said that Lamar,
shut up.
When Lamar just has to decide how he wants to kill you, I've never heard him say that about a quarterback. I think he genuinely respects Lamar Jackson. I think he would love to coach him. I think he thinks he's a really good quarterback.
I don't want to quote him because I'm a misquote him because I don't have it in front of me, right? I don't want to take things that are not mine and say. So what I'm saying is he literally said like he wants a quarterback that throws like Drew Brees and runs like Lamar Jackson. He said that's his perfect quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So right then and there, you got to tell me
he's half the way there.
Yeah,
he's half the way there. And the thing about he said that almost 3 years ago. Lamar has improved as a passer since then.
But also Kyle gets he has like man crushes on players when he can't let go. He said the same thing about Josh Allen. Like when we played Josh Allen, all of a sudden, like that's all
I think he has a man crush on Lamar Jackson. And you can tell when he doesn't. Remember, I asked him a few weeks ago, what do you think of Trevor Lawrence? This dude stood up there and said he's tall.
Yeah.
He did that. He's tall. Really like his size in the pocket. It's like, oh, so you think he's trash? And maybe Kyle's right about that, but he didn't do any of that stuff with Lamar. It was like, man, this guy is the ultimate handful. Our guy, he's poised out there. Poised? Man, that's nothing compared to the stuff you said about Lamar. I was like, could you say something nicer, please? I'm feeling insecure.
Yeah, but I feel like everything that Kyle says about Brock is more along the lines of Brock being a vessel, right? How much he can take, right? That's kind of like how Kyle like talks about Brock, in my opinion, like what he can do, how much information he can handle, how much processing he can take on. Like basically, like, man, it's like he damn near stops short of saying he takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Like it's almost like he's always talking about how much he can take, but it's almost like I'm waiting for him to start talking about Brock in like more of like a weapon perspective of like, we can't do this if Brock's not on the field. That's a whole different level of like kudos, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like walking up, like I see John Harbaugh. Oh my God, what play was this? Was against I want to say this was against Seattle. It was like a 4th down play, and they went for it anyway. It was like a short down yardage play. They went for it on 3rd down, didn't get it. It was 4th down. Lamar stays on the field, and they just huddle up naturally, right? So John's kind of looking around. They send the play in, and then they get it, right? They get it, but they end up scoring. I think that was like the long play where the running back scored or whatever. So he goes to the sideline anyway, and John Harbaugh goes up to Lamar, and he goes, the only reason why I ran that is because you're under center. He's like, I didn't think we can get that, but you said we can run it, so I ran it. So I want to let you know that happened because of you. Right? So that's like...
Yeah, when is Kyle going to talk that way to Brock, right?
Yeah, like that's a whole different, like the team is yours. I'm just here to coach type of
Right.
relationship. And
That's not the relationship the
I
Niners
wonder
have.
if we're ever going to get there here.
Maybe. Keith Murphy, the unbeaten, says Lions just lost to the Bears and the Packers. I'm more worried about the Rams. That's fair.
Mm,
That is fair. I mean, it's like, who's really scared of Jared Goff?
it is Jared Goff. Yeah.
No disrespect, but the Niners have beaten him so many times. Abu Marco 23 says, how significant would the psychological impact be for the Niners to beat the Ravens on Monday? Top AFC team, primetime game, lost to tomorrow in 2019. How significant would this? I mean, either way, winning, losing, it's a huge game.
It's a statement game.
Big time. Can you imagine if the Ravens win it without being for them? Let's talk about it. Who do you think is going to win this game? Niners, Ravens, and why?
I got the Niners winning. And the reason why I have the Niners winning is because offensively, we're in the driver's seat. Right now, the Ravens, we're healthier than the Ravens right now. They've lost a lot of guys, especially they lost probably one of their best players at running back coming in. And right now, I feel like we're hot. Brock is really good against what the Ravens do, which is sending exotic blitzes. Brock has been showing some of his best work is when he's being pressured. And that's a lot of what the Ravens do. Running the game, running the ball, they are very good from coast to coast. I mean, sideline to sideline. And one of the things that is very rare now that I'm starting to see is, usually across the league, you start to get a little, you start to see that offensive line play is not as good. Well, linebacker play really isn't good across the league either. Every team you're starting to see either has average linebackers or very good linebackers. And this team has very good linebackers. And we struggle with teams with good linebackers. Ergo, the Cleveland Browns. They had some of the best linebacking core in the league, and we struggled mightily against them. So with what they do on defense, as much as they come downhill and handle things in the run game, they're not that good in pass coverage, right? And for as much as they blitz, they have to stay in zone, which we kill in zone. Brock does an amazing job against zone and processing. So I don't think that they're necessarily going to have a strong game against us through the air. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to be able to, he's not going to find himself having as much time as he wants to be able to get out of the pocket. And I think that we're just a lot healthier than them too. It's at this stage of the season. So I have us winning.
That's true. I'm leaning towards the Ravens.
Okay.
Sorry to be controversial,
No,
but
I mean,
the way I'm looking at it, the way I'm looking at it is, I'm looking at a tired Niners defense. They missed 16 tackles last week and 15 the week before that. They don't have a good run defense even when they're fully rested. We don't know what the deal is with their D tackles. As pass rushers, I mean, they're pretty undisciplined, particularly Nick Bosa. They open up all the time. They're vulnerable to teams that run the ball well. They just blow teams out, and teams have to abandon it. I don't think they're going to blow out the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to stick with the run. I think they're going to control the game with their running game. They're going to win 24-20. Now, we'll see. Maybe Eric Armstead and Javon Hargrave come back, and I'll have to adjust my prediction. But right now, the Niners, I mean, they don't defend the run well. And now they're facing the best running quarterback. Yeah, he's a little erratic as a passer sometimes, I guess, if you could just make him a pocket passer. But can they? That's not exactly what they do. So they did that to Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Hurts did it to Jalen Hurts. He was just standing there. I don't know what he was doing. But Lamar Jackson's a lot better, a lot more explosive, a lot quicker, a lot tougher to tackle than Kyler Murray. I don't know. I think this run game, the Ravens run offense versus the Niners run defense, is going to be the difference in the game.
All right, yeah. Okay, so yeah, the run game is something that I was concerned about until they had those injuries. So as far as the Ravens being a strong team to play 60 minutes against us, I am looking for that fight. I am looking for a team that's going to be able to play us all four quarters. But I'll say this. Most teams already lost the game to us if they think that they're going to beat us by stopping Brock, right? And I feel like we've been playing a lot of teams where their defensive game plan hasn't been necessarily to stop our team, but it's to expose Brock. And while you're too busy trying to expose Brock, we're scoring. We're getting down the field. And what happens is that when you finally wake up and understand that the kid sees the field, You're not going to rattle him. There's no elements of the game that are going to get to him because he's protected to just go out and play ball. Once you kind of get into that mode, then you realize that you got an entire defense and an entire offense to get through once you even try to start affecting him. I see the way we've been playing, and there's really no teams out there that can consistently make us play a full game for 4 quarters. I haven't seen it. I just haven't seen it. And the Ravens aren't healthy enough, in my opinion. Now, to put a fly in the ointment, if you will, the Ravens do have very good special teams, and we've been ass on special teams. We've been pretty bad. So you never can count out a team that's good enough to hang around and they, fill position here, a good return there, a bad return or a fumble or a snap on there on other parts of the game. Anything could happen, but I don't see this one as a blowout, but I do see this one as we're the healthier team. We're the more complete team. And we have a better identity than them because they don't have the horses to actually carry out what they need to do. So,
all I know is
I don't got them beating.
All I know is their defense gave up 7 points last week, and the Niners defense gave up 29. I'm concerned about the Niners defense. I'm concerned about their fatigue and these missed tackles and their run defense. And I feel like, man, it's a bad time to be tired and weak against the run. It's like, thank goodness they got an extra day to prepare. Put it that way. And they're at home.
And they have more time. Exactly. And they have more time to get prepared for this game. I mean, right now, this is our game to win. I think we should win, Grant, honestly.
All right. Pally says, I feel like the Ravens are overhyped. They haven't really had a tough schedule, and their only impressive win was against the Lions. I think they actually had a tougher strength of schedule than the Niners.
Did they?
The strength of schedule. Yeah, the Niners' strength of schedule in terms of wins is exactly. Strength of victory is 481. Strength of schedule is 500. Ravens' strength of victory is 506, and strength of schedule is 520. They're in the AFC, and it's like they're saying their most impressive win was against the Lions. Okay, what was the Niners' most impressive win?
I mean, the Niners' most impressive win was the Eagles.
Eagles suck.
Don't do that, Grant. You about to get
the Eagles have completely imploded. The Eagles lost to the Seahawks.
All right, say that then, but don't do that.
No, the Eagles are they just lost to the Seahawks. So I don't see that as super impressive.
Respect. I'll give you that.
The Cowboys, maybe, you could say that the Jaguars are the most impressive win the Niners have, but the Ravens just beat them. I don't know.
But the fact that we're sitting here and we have to pick lets you know that the Niners have had a tougher schedule than the Ravens. The fact that we are picking between the Cowboys, the Eagles,
no.
or the Jaguars.
Statistically, no. I mean, according to the NFL Jesus I'm looking at, the Ravens have had a tougher strength of schedule.
Really?
Statistically.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. In terms of the most impressive win, I guess blowing out Philly, blowing out Dallas. Sure. I can see it. But other than that.
All right. So, hey, if you want to play devil's advocate, they played a team twice that we lost to, the Bengals.
Cincinnati. Beat them twice.
Yeah. All right. They played the Browns that we lost to.
Beat them once. Lost once.
Yeah. They lost once and went. Yeah. So, okay. If you really want to look at, what is this, the AFC East? The AFC North? If you want to say that, do you feel like the AFC North is more physical than the NFC West?
Yeah.
Okay.
So look, I don't know if they're overhyped. I don't think they're that hyped. I think this season is all about the Niners. I'm not saying the Niners are overhyped, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be close. This one's going to be a good one. I want them to play the whole way through.
I think so. Ball of Vision says Grant/Coach, thoughts on the Niners covering the 5.5 point spread. I'm picking the Ravens as of today, so I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't think the Niners are going to cover.
But wait to see what their defensive tackle situation is. You got to know. If Armstead and Hargrave play, you might like that. Matthew Sanders says, is anyone on our D faster than Lamar? TV speed lies. No.
Faster? No. Not faster, but as fast, could run with him. Probably
Lenore?
like Demo and Mooney.
Yeah.
They can run with him.
The two corners. I don't think Greenlaw can. I don't think Warner can. Warner can't.
Warner can't. No.
Matthew Sanders says our D phoned it in the fourth quarter versus Arizona 29 was fraudulent. Or they retired?
Yeah, That's a big thing that ball players love to do. Talk about they phoned it in when they getting their ass whipped. Like, nah, they were tired. They were tired. They were ready to
Baltimore
go
almost
home.
got had by the Rams. That was not impressive, says Matthew Sanders. It's true. Hey, maybe the Niners blow up the Ravens and we have to like, I'll be back here being like, well, Ravens sucked. Like, I don't know.
You know, listen,
I don't know.
You
I'm
know
under
they're
the
gonna be
impression
on
the Ravens
you.
are really
They're
tough.
gonna be on you.
Hey, I'm used to it, man. I don't, but at least I don't just lift stuff off Reddit. That is tough. When you're wrong, that's okay.
Hold on.
I'm wrong in public all the time. It's different.
You can't be right about literally everything and not get your sources off Reddit. You can't be.
I was so surprised that there were like official 10-yard split numbers on Lamar Jackson, considering everyone knows he never ran. Everyone knows he never ran. There's a whole thing.
Anybody who knows anything about common football, not even deep analysis.
It was 5 years ago. Bill Polian thought he shouldn't be a quarterback and he didn't want to run because he thought they'd make him play wide receiver. I mean, it was the biggest story at the combine 5 years ago.
He refused to run the 40. Everybody knows,
Everyone knows that.
Shot heard around the world is Lamar Jackson never ran a 40. How does he have a 10-yard split?
They just visualized it. They visualized it. On that note, that's the end of the show. Thank you for attending the coaches meeting. That's the coach. I'm Grant Cohn.
You got a super chat, man.
Oh, I do. Okay, before we go, make sure you go to in the description, click on the link. That's his channel. Subscribe to it. Show some love. It's great. It's growing very quickly. Cameron Ezel says, "What about the Lions losing to the Bears? I don't think the Ravens beating the Lions is that impressive." How about the Niners losing to the Vikings? Good.
Say that again.
Play that game. What about the Niners losing to the Vikings? You can play that game.
See, this is why I don't like arguing with you. You get petty quick.
Yeah, you're right. I feel like they don't have an impressive win. Man, they beat the Jaguars. The Niners beat the Jaguars. What more do you want?
Yeah, but the Niners beat the Jaguars when they were the hottest team in the NFL, though.
Yeah. The Ravens would beat the Eagles. The Ravens would beat the Cowboys, I think. I think those two teams are just not real.
Okay.
At least anymore. I just don't take them seriously. I mean, like, the Cowboys look terrible against Buffalo. They look terrible.
They did. I mean, I see. Listen, you've had worse takes. This one plays.
I've had bad takes.
Yeah,
I've had bad takes.
But I'm not mad at you. I mean, the Ravens are a game. They're a good team. 11-3. This is gonna be a good one. I mean, my only thing is I don't want anybody to take their ball and go home. I don't want the game to get competitive. Somebody gets up by 2 scores, and then you see everybody just, oh, this game doesn't matter. And then the game kind of like falls off. That's what I'm going to do.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to definitely move the goalposts by the third quarter if the Niners are winning big. No, I'll just say that I was wrong. I'm happy to say that I was wrong. If the Niners can stop the run and keep Lamar Jackson in the pocket, they'll win. Can they do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. They couldn't do it last week. They couldn't do that with Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
Let me ask you something. Are the Vikings in playoff contention?
Yes.
Are the Bengals in playoff contention?
Yes. Hold on. The Cincinnati's a 6 seed, and so are the Vikings.
And are the Browns in playoff contention?
The Browns are the 5 seed. They're 9-5.
So the Niners' 3 losses were to playoff teams.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
Vikings have a damn good defense. Brian Flores is doing a great job over there. Yeah, they didn't have any these like weird losses that other teams have. Sudden chaos is the Cowboys, Eagles, Ravens. All the tests don't really matter because every time we beat a really good team, we don't get credit. The narrative gets pushed that they're just frauds. True. And I'm going to do that in a few days if the Ravens lose by a lot. Frauds or they were injured. I'm going to go one excuse. I'm going to figure it out. Whatever suits me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm just saying, man, like, for what it's worth, I know that we had a little back and forth about the Ravens having a tougher schedule than us, but our 3 losses to teams that are, I can see if we lost to 3 teams that like fell off by the wayside and they were trash. Our 3 losses are to teams that are actually still in the hunt.
Yeah,
So
and Baltimore did lose to Pittsburgh and Indianapolis.
Come on.
That being said, though, they've won 8 of their last 9. And the one game they lost by 2 to who was it? Who played that game? Was it Deshaun? Hold on. It's Deshaun Watson. They lost to Deshaun Watson. Okay.
They lost to Deshaun Watson?
Yeah, that's the one game they've lost in the last
2 losses.
On that note, we're out of here. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the coach. Subscribe to me. I'll be back tomorrow. Coach, thanks a lot.